Hey everybody!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Long Box. Specifically,
Hey,
Tales from the Long Box.
This is the Tales from the Long Box show on Long Box Studios. It's the channel that we have, that we put this show on. Long Box, Tales from the Long Box.
How many things can we stuff Long Box into?
We can find out.
Today we're going to be talking about this book, Long Box and Cub. Iconic.
You've offended me. You've dishonored me.
Oh. You've dishonored me by drawing your blade. We're so brave. Oh. The very extreme samurai movie squibs.
Harikiri. Or Sanjuro, I believe is
Sanjuro,
where that started.
Yeah.
Great movie. So guys, we are talking about Lone Wolf and Cub today. The Mandalorian and Grogu is out in the movie theater. I almost said Groglet. You heard me.
If you don't know the connection, which we're going to talk about very soon here,
you're confused.
You go, why did he just say the title and then just reference something entirely different?
So the Mandalorian and Grogu is in the movie theaters right now, and you may or may not know that a partial inspiration, at least like visually and initially sort of tonally, for The Mandalorian was this classic manga, started in 1970 and went to 76, I believe. That
feels right.
It is an all-timer. It is a huge milestone in just comics in general. When it got brought over to the West, it was hugely influential on people like Frank Miller. When you look at his work on stuff like Sin City and things, you can really, really see the influence. Phone call. So this started in 1970, went through to 1976, had several film adaptations. The TV adaptation was almost going to be adapted by Darren Aronofsky, I think, at one point, which is crazy, and I don't think that would have fit very well, but whatever.
Yeah, that would be an adventure.
It'd be weird. Written by Kazuo Koike. I apologize for pronunciation of names ahead of time.
Throughout this entire thing, I think we're going to be kind of struggling with some of these.
Yeah, I want to do my best.
There's a lot of names, and they're tough.
Yeah. Written by Kazuo Koike, penciled and inked, basically art by Goseki Kojima. Lone Wolf and Cub. I've written. Do you want to read what I wrote here?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just from the Wikipedia.
Oh, it's perfect.
Book description, Michael.
Lone Wolf and Cub is a Japanese manga series written by those guys that you mentioned and drawn by that other guy that you mentioned. It was serialized in Futubasha's Seinen Manga magazine, Weekly Manga Action is how it was anglicized, from September 1970 to April of 1976, with its chapters collected in 28 tankobon volumes. It's widely recognized as one of the most important and influential manga series of all time, spawning various adaptations, including 6 films, 4 plays, and 1 TV series. I didn't know it was made into plays. That's kind of fun. That is interesting.
Even in the traditional sense, I don't know how that would exactly translate. I don't want to be stereotypical, but that would be kind of cool.
I love that. Now, if you guys think that it's like, there's probably not that much of it. There's you know, if you've seen our show at all, you see the 6 big fat of these
things, and
sitting
that's
near us. Look
like
at the
half
size.
of them.
Yeah,
there's 28 chapters total, I believe.
Yeah, and it's just colossal.
They're chunky, and this is these are produced by Dark Horse. This is, I think, the second version that got brought over to the West. I think this may be because it was being done by some other publisher initially, and then Dark Horse took over when they went out of business, I think. I think Frank Miller actually, you can tell I did so much research. Frank Miller, if I'm remembering correctly, helped with some of the bringing over of Lone Wolf and Cub and translating and stuff like that. And because, like I said, you can see very heavy influence, and I'll talk about that in the art and stuff later with his Wolverine and Sin City and stuff like that. There's some really cool stuff going on here. But Michael, I mean, do you want to just read this straight off the thing of the origin, or should I tell you this and we can talk about it?
You go for it, and then we'll talk about it.
Great. Okay, so talking about the origin of this book, how it came to be. Lone Wolf and Cub. Basically, the writer Kazuo Koike was inspired by the legendary hero Sigurd, You know Sigurd.
Of course I know Sigurd.
Because you're the guy of classics.
Germanic legend,
He was inspired by him, who is made invulnerable by bathing in a dragon's blood, except for where a leaf shields part of his back and retains his mortality. Kind of a Achilles thing.
Very, very much inspired by Achilles.
Yeah. The character of Daigoro was created to mirror this weakness in Ogami. So Daigoro is the son. So the main character is Ogami Ito.
Yes, this fellow.
And his son is Daigoro. Koike stated in an interview that he crafted the manga to be based on the characters themselves, and that the essential tension between Ito's, this is his quote now, the essential tension between Ito's operative to meet these challenges while keeping his son with him on the journey drove the story. According to Koike, having two characters as foils of each other is what sets things in motion. If you have a strong character, the storyline will develop naturally on its own. So what is the story of this thing?
That's a great question. So, for the record, we are just going to be sticking to this first omnibus.
Yes.
This very initial chapter. We could talk all day about all of these.
Yeah.
We're keeping it just to where it kind of began.
Which is the first 5 chapters, I think, or 9. The first 9 chapters.
I think it even goes beyond that. I don't know how many are in here total. A lot of these follow a very similar structure, which works and maybe hurts it in other ways. We'll talk about that as well. But overall, the main character Ogami Ito is a Ronin samurai. And
now he is.
Yes.
We'll get to the backstory, but it starts in media res.
Yep.
So what you know of him is he's a wandering samurai.
Yeah, a wandering samurai who's taken to assassinations and being a sword for hire, that kind of a thing. And he goes through all these just kind of sort of just serialized adventures throughout a very historical, or historically faithful Edo period Japan.
Yeah.
And so
he's got his son with him.
Yep, he's got his little son Daigoro, who is very cute.
Yep.
And is very much not a passive observer to all of his assassinations.
He's a killer.
And he really is. He takes part in it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Some ways are very cute. Like there was one I remember where Daigoro is peeing off a cliff.
Yes.
onto some older samurai.
He's like a military leader.
Yes, yeah. Somebody very proud of his station, who takes great offense, and Ogami comes up and says, "Is something wrong?" And this military leader is like, "Your son pissed on me." And but he's like, "But if you apologize, then I'll forget the offense."
He's like, "I'm not going to apologize."
No, he had to pee.
Yeah.
It's your fault. You were there.
Yeah.
Essentially what this whole episode was Ogami was goading this guy into challenging him into challenging Ogami himself for a formal duel, and knowing that he could defeat him.
Yeah.
And so it's fun little serialized. I say fun. They're very bloody, but the setup and the plots can be kind of fun in a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the more lighthearted.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Even though it does result in the death of a man.
Well, most things do.
Yes.
In life.
And you're talking about Ogami's life, right?
Yes.
Good. And so that's a lot of what this ends up looking like. You do get some backstory as to Ogami's life before he kind of became a Ronin, back when he was a well-established and honored samurai.
I mean, he had a high position.
Yeah.
So he used to be for the grand majority of the beginning of this book.
Yep.
He's going on these episode a week type stories. Slowly maybe finding out small details about who he is. You see that he's very, very skilled. He uses this very large, heavy sword, and they point that out fairly often. I can't remember what it's called, a daikune or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever, not super important. But they eventually get to explaining the backstory, which is that he was the executioner for the shogun.
Yeah.
In modern terms, this is the executioner for the emperor.
Yeah.
The guy who's running the show. Mm-hmm. And essentially, if someone was going to commit seppuku or harakiri, which is the ceremonial, disemboweling of oneself. He was the second. He would be the one who would then lop his head off to make sure that he was done.
After his honor was regained.
Yes. Whatever that is.
Yes.
Harakiri, great movie, all about how the honor of the samurai is really kind of a barbaric facade. The reason that Ito is now wandering samurai and no longer the very high position of the executioner for the shogun is that the Yagyu clan have secretly placed a sacred spirit tablet bearing the Tokugawa shogun's family crest into Ito's family altar. So having this symbol in a praying altar for the dead was seen as the highest level of blasphemy and a curse, implying that Ito was wishing death upon the shogun.
I do remember them bringing this up very briefly.
Yes. Yeah. So when the shogunate discovers this, it's treated as undeniable proof of disrespect and treason. So he's ordered to commit seppuku, again, the ritual suicide. Instead, he chooses to abandon the path of the samurai, Bushido, and take up the demon road to hell and wander feudal Japan as an assassin for hire with his infant son, Daigoro, while plotting his revenge against the Yagyu clan.
This is that issue 9 that we were talking about. When that opens, it's this very, very interesting scene of it's Ogami and Daigoro in their house, and Ogami offers his son a sword and like a ball, just a child's ball,
which you might recognize. You might remember this.
Yeah.
From the Mandalorian Grogu.
Yes, a very similar moment in that for sure. And Daigoro, and so he says essentially, Daigoro, you can't, if you select the sword, you'll come with me to hell, or if you choose the ball, I will send you to be with your mother in heaven, which is a very dark opening.
Yes.
Very, very dark. And certainly different from what we see in The Mandalorian as far as the choice that's given to little Grogu. Again, we'll get to it. But Daigoro eventually does choose the sword, even though it's kind of questionable. And Ogami says, great, we're about to defect from the shogunate and become Ronin. The shogun tracks him down. He ends up fighting with some of these high-ranking leaders, and that kind of sets him on this journey of being just this wanderer with his son in his little pram, and that's become like a very classic image of his son in his stroller, and the old wandering man pushing him around. In The Mandalorian, Grogu is given a similar choice
by Luke
Skywalker. He's given a choice between a
Yoda's lightsaber or his mithril shirt.
That's right. Which is interesting.
I know that it's not mithril.
Yes, yeah.
I know. It's a joke.
It's adamantium.
Shut up. Yeah.
It's good.
We all know that it's vibranium.
Yes, we all know it's vibranium, of course. And so what's interesting is that whereas Daigoro chooses the sword, Grogu does not choose the sword. He chooses the armor. Either way, they both choose to be with their fathers, both of these children in these stories.
Sure.
That's kind of where the parallel exists there. And it's not accidental. In fact, none of the, there's a zillion parallels between the old warrior and his son. And that goes beyond Star Wars as well. I mean, there are definitely other examples of this. But anyway, it's one of the direct inspirations that Jon Favreau mentioned when he was starting up the Mandalorian show. He said, he was quoted in saying something like, I don't want to be inspired by Star Wars. I want to be inspired by the things that inspired George Lucas, which was famously all of these, different like Japanese samurai stories and stuff like that.
Which explains why the Mandalorian started the way it did.
Yes. Yeah.
And why it's gone the way it has.
Yes.
Because they started being inspired by, Akira Kurosawa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And have very much just turned into action figures and nostalgia, and your favorite random guy in the background is now a main character and whatever. It's like
Jack Black and
we've
Lisa
lost this.
Here and,
we've lost the thread here.
Because they were inspired by money after that.
Yes,
after a certain point.
Grogu is too cute.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and so, but again, when it started, there was, I think, of what was a very like true and genuine vision that followed a lot of these things. And so, since George liked samurai stories so much, even I've heard at least speculation. I don't know if this is confirmed that the word Jedi came from like Edo period. From Edo.
I have no idea.
It's supposed to be connected in some way linguistically.
Interesting. I know that Toshiro Mifune was his first choice to play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right. Yes,
and
I remember
he didn't want
that
to
too.
come to London to shoot it, so it didn't happen.
Yeah. Can you imagine though?
Yeah, there's a great drawing that Paulo Rivera did of him as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I love that.
Insert that here, Michael.
Thanks. I'll do it.
I will.
So good. I feel like I do feel like it's kind of tale as old as time. You know what I mean? So much of this feels like a classic that you would see in any other number of. Like this feels like the Odyssey. This feels like any.
Yeah, man. Boy meets
hero's
son.
Tale, hero's
son
tale deal.
picks sword.
Yes. Yep. Son kills people.
Yeah. Son pees various times.
They talk about pee a lot.
I really love, and I think it might be in the very first one.
Yes.
Where he gets captured or something intentionally.
Yep.
And is like, oh, I think that my son has to pee now.
Yeah.
Guess you'll have to let me go real quick because he'll only let me take him to pee.
And it works.
It's so good.
So it's goofy stuff like that all throughout. But you get all sorts of really cool action. I mean, this is definitely among the upper echelon of most influential manga of all time, and for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's probably. I'm sure it's arguable if you can put it at number one. I would put it at least near number one for sure.
I mean, I haven't read enough manga and I don't know enough about the medium to say that. There's a great argument to put stuff like Dragon Ball up there.
Yep.
Just because of how ridiculously prolific it is. I think that this is maybe, not to use a kind of pretentious term, but the thinking man's choice. This is someone like your favorite mangaka's favorite mangaka.
Yeah.
I
like the way of putting that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Whereas Spider-Man is maybe the best superhero of all time, but if you want a really deep cut that's like extremely good, you might choose Miracle Man.
Yeah.
And that's a character that most people have probably never heard of.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. Koku.
Which one's Koku?
This is something they talk about a lot as like a measure of grandeur of this place has this many koku.
Okay. Yes, I remember this being mentioned.
Yes.
So much of
comes
this
up a lot.
I'm going to say this also alongside this. The glossary in the back of this book was
indispensable.
Was my best pal all throughout, which I usually hate, and for the first couple issues I did hate.
Yeah.
And then I grew to kind of enjoy it as I kept reading.
And you get to know some of the terms like daimyo and stuff like that, where that's like a feudal lord.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff.
Koku was one that I had to keep going back and looking for. There were a number of those.
Koku's a tough one.
Yeah.
So I did some research on this. People will say something about like, oh, this is 100,000 koku domain. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because that's not a measurement of space or land. It's a measurement of rice. Mm-hmm. So I did some research on this. Because the Tokugawa shogunate used an economy based heavily on agriculture rather than minted coin, a domain size wasn't measured in square miles. Instead, it was measured by kokudaka, the total estimated annual rice yield of its territory. So if a feudal lord ruled over a 100,000 koku domain, it meant their borders contained enough arable farmland, villages, and peasants to produce that much rice per year. And if the shogunate discovered a domain was corrupt, mismanaged, or plotting treason, the shogun would issue a kaeki, an order of attainder, that stripped the lord of his title, seized his lands, and instantly dissolved the domain. In the blink of an eye, 100,000 koku paradise could vanish. Thousands of samurai would instantly become starving, masterless ronin, just like Ito. Yeah. That existential dread of losing their koku rating is what drives the desperate lords in the comics to hire the lone wolf in the first place. So there's different parts in this where they're specifically trying to like keep something from being discovered. Like, which one is it? There's one where like they discover gold. This group of peasants discovers gold on their area, and they by law have to tell the shogunate about it. Mm-hmm. They choose not to, and then the shogun sends their metsuke, which are basically like enforcers, like the FBI.
Yeah.
Think about it that way.
Strong men from the feds. Yeah.
And if they discover, this informant that's going to tell them about this gold, then their entire domain just goes away and goes back to the shogunate. So it's like that was a weird, strange little cultural detail that like even probably like some Japanese people would not even recognize.
Yeah.
But it talks about some of like, there's a whole preface at the beginning of this that says like, hey, this is really accurate. And for that reason, there's a lot of terms that don't directly translate.
Yep.
Some of it is actually in Mandarin.
Yeah. And
a Japanese reader would be able to tell exactly what it means without thinking about it, but a modern reader might have trouble. Modern, Western, American, whatever. And that's just, some weird, interesting cultural stuff there.
Which I like that they took the things that didn't, they didn't try to adapt
Don't dumb
too
it
much.
down.
Yeah. Leave it complex, and we'll figure it out as readers. Like that's, not figure it out, but we'll like do our homework. We'll look in the glossary. It's like that's. I like that quite a bit. So I liked how faithful it was in that way.
Do you have any favorite stories in there?
I did like that. It's hard to beat the origin story.
It's very good.
It is very good. What are some other good ones? I like anything. There's a lot of these where what Ogami ends up doing to accomplish his task, whether that's an assassination that he's been hired for, or even just a situation that he stumbles upon that requires violence. He often has to use some amount of like cleverness or trickery to get out of it.
Yeah, it's not just like I cut you in half. There's usually some kind of, game being played.
Yes, and then he cuts them in half.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is very, very fun. So I think those ones, which those are extremely common. Probably half of these, at least in this first omnibus, have that kind of a story where it's like not even so much about his skill as an assassin, as it is his just cleverness as a tactician, as a wanderer. And so those are all extremely fun.
Yeah, it's a very Yojimbo thing in the sense that he's like, or Columbo even is maybe a better example because I don't know if they say the character's name, and I guess Sanjuro is technically his name, right? In Yojimbo, that's because then they whatever.
Yeah.
He is a character who is like very much underplaying his ability and his skill. Like Ito is very matter of fact. He's very just like, well, this thing is happening and that's just the way it is. And he's like, he's not overplaying his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, the direct ripoff of Yojimbo then is Fistful of Dollars. And the way that like Clint Eastwood comes into town and the guys shoot at his donkey.
Yeah.
And he's telling them like, oh, that was mighty rude of you and my donkey wants you to apologize.
See, that's what I want to talk to you about. He's feeling real bad.
Huh?
My mule. You see, he got all riled up when you fired those shots at his feet.
Like that is very Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yes.
The way that he's saying like, oh, Daigoro doesn't like that. Or I think he even has like that almost that exact conversation at one point about like a horse or something, right?
I don't remember the horse one. I know in the first one he goes into like, oh, I would let you hire me, but Daigoro doesn't like you.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sort of a vibe.
He said you smell bad or something.
Yes. Yeah. I think he even he said something about you smell like murder, and then that's how he opens the fight. By identifying that he knows that these guys are the killers that he's out for, or something like that. It's very, very cool.
Oh man, I thought I wrote that down.
So he's got that disaffected thing. That's just he's not. He's not concerned until he comes out swinging his sword, which is fun.
It's very good.
Yeah. What about the? I'd be interested in hearing what you think about the art in this, which I feel like there's a lot to say for.
Oh, let me tell you about the art, Michael.
I want to learn.
I'll tell you all about it. I think it's really freaking cool.
Yes, it is.
So this is. With a little bit of research, this apparently, according to what I was reading, was a bit of a change in the style of manga at the time. It was maybe a bit more cartoon before this, and Kojima was taking it to a bit more of a realistic isn't necessarily the right word, because this is still pretty cartoon at times, but it's much more gritty in the sense that there's a lot of violence in it. It is more realistic compared to something like Dragon Ball, which had not existed yet, I don't believe, but is a very good poster boy for much more cartoon looking manga. But Kojima's work is just ridiculously good. He's using some really loose line work. He's clearly using a brush a lot of the time. It's just really cool. It reminds me a little bit of Matsukeli in Year One in the way that he's got a real economy to his line work, that he's not putting down a crazy amount of details like somebody in the 90s would, like a McFarlane, just putting tons of extra lines and stuff like that, or a modern artist like Gary Frank putting every tiny bit of Captain America's boot in the Ultimates or whatever. It has just enough detail in it to perfectly convey the size and shape of what's going on, and the dynamism of the work is really good. Like, the sense of motion and flow is fantastic. There's I think in the very first story, there's a really great sequence that I might have saved here. I mean, you've got it right there. Yeah. But there's the Guardian 8.
Yes.
That are hired to stop Ogami. And they're like talking about him before he shows up.
Yeah.
And the way that is all framed out is so good. Yeah. Do I not have that somewhere? Okay, but you've got it there.
Yeah.
So it just, like, I love the way that they slowly, or here, I can find it. I have the books in here. Okay, so I mean, this whole opening, I really, really love.
Yeah.
And it shows, it's so cinematic. It really reminds me, we keep going back to the spaghetti Western world because the spaghetti Westerns like Fistful of Dollars. Fistful of Dollars is a direct ripoff of Yojimbo without credit being given at all.
Yeah.
There's a famous story, I don't know if this is true, that Akira Kurosawa went to the theater to go and see Yojimbo. And obviously recognized, not see Yojimbo, to see Fistful of Dollars.
I love this story. Yeah.
Obviously recognized that it was just a ripoff of his movie, Yojimbo.
Yeah.
And supposedly he wrote a letter to Sergio Leone that said, the movie was a fine film. It was a delightful film. It was fantastic. However, it was my film.
Yes. And you should pay me because it was mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, he's getting reprimanded by Akira Kurosawa. Meanwhile, Leone is just running around Italy being like, look, I have a letter from Akira Kurosawa. Like, he's just over the moon about that.
Yeah.
So then, that's why when you look at the Magnificent Seven, it direct credit is given for it being a remake of The Seven Samurai.
As it should.
So a lot of spaghetti westerns, especially the Leone westerns, are very inspired by samurai cinema. The Old West and feudal Japan are very similar in a lot of ways.
Oh, indivisibly linked, I think.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, especially just the way that the lore is used, the storytelling is done.
Yeah.
The samurai and the cowboy are the same.
The idea of an outlaw, the wandering outlaw, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This whole opening reminds me so much of Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yes.
Of these 3-4 bodyguards just sitting at the train station waiting for Charles Bronson to show up.
Yeah.
And they're not all talking about him being like, oh, you hear about this guy? I don't know about him. He's got a baby or whatever. Yeah. They're all just kind of waiting. And it's a very long Sergio Leone sequence that feels like it takes 1,000 years, but it's really entertaining somehow. But this is so good. I mean, the Sun for Hire, Sword for Hire is very good. The idea of opening up your film, your shot, whatever, on just the sun, and then this coming into frame as the first thing. It's a very slow roll of actually seeing Ito and Daigoro.
No, but it's extremely beautiful the way they kind of intro all of it.
Yeah, and the feet, it's very indirect, and you see all the dialogue of oh, what's up with that banner? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel the shots back there of the feet of the people who are talking, it's it gives it this effect where you understand that there's a multitude of people speaking, but the imagery doesn't distract you, let's say, from just this dialogue. That's what you're supposed to be focusing on, is just there's a conversation happening. And we need some imagery, so let's like, not that it's like flippantly chosen, I think it's very intentionally chosen, but they just put something in there to let you know this is the conversation going, but we're not showing you action right now. We're just showing you the conversation.
The setup, the slow setup.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like
so cool.
Visually, there's a lot of heavy contrast going on, which is really fantastic because you have to have heavy contrast in a black and white work like this in order to establish depth. And so, I mean, it's a necessity, but it also just visually is beautiful. It doesn't have to be as intensely black and white as this. A lot of manga isn't. If you look at more modern works like Full Metal Alchemist or, Attack on Titan, whatever, very popular stuff. There's a lot of use of halftone to get like shades of gray and things like that, and not near as much just like deep black like this. And that's probably the Kurosawa inspiration as well. Of just taking the heavy wind and the intense contrast. And just like all these slow bits of just, the grass blowing, they're all just sitting there waiting. The water, you can hear that water. Like, I mean, that's where I get back to Once Upon a Time in the West, of like that guy just sitting there and the fly going around bothering him. It's just these small things. And then finally you get the cart moving. And then they hear him in the distance. Now they're all looking. And like, what great shot. And like, he's surrounded by them here. And then there's Ogami. And then once again,
you don't see people. It's just swords. Like swords at the ready for him.
It's so fantastic.
It's very, very cool. And so they have kind of a contest of wits here. I love this panel with this is where the fight opens. This is first contact between opponents, and they gray it out.
Just the sheer speed
it's crazy.
Of the maneuver. Like immediately showing like this guy means business.
And
he's ridiculously good.
And the horizontal exchange that the horizontal lines kind of imply is genius pencil work. I think that's so cool.
Man, and there's so much going on here, but it's always so clear. I also wonder, because manga is backwards, like they read from right to left. This book is reproduced left to right. So I don't know, presumably this has been changed for American audiences. I don't know if that's the case.
I was so thankful though that I could read from left to right.
Slightly easier for you. Yeah, man, it's just great. One thing that was really interesting to me that I noticed is how visually led the book is in general. Comparing this to any of the Iron Man books that we were reading, any contemporary book, even from the 80s, like Western comics were so word heavy, intensely word heavy. You're describing everything that's happening. There's the bit in here where this guy has a hawk and he sends the hawk out, and there's this quick moment where Ito sees it, and what a great shot there, like in the eye. He sees it, and in that moment he wraps up Daigoro's eyes. They do not go to some long explanation of like, he's using this attack, this kind of attack that was from this school.
At least
I know what I can do for what this is. I'll wrap up Daigoro and that'll protect him. They do mention it very briefly.
They go back to it after the attack is completed.
But look at that. And there's an entire page with like almost no text. That is crazy for this era, at least in Western comics. I don't know enough about manga of this period to say if this was typical, but I'm guessing it was not.
And it's
not to this degree.
Well, and I know, like, again, this is kind of my eye that's not so analytical about the artwork, or just doesn't have the know-how necessarily. But like in these pages where there is no dialogue, in so many comics, I and a lot of readers I know have a lot of tendency to just skim,
blast past
to just
it.
go, okay, things are happening, action is occurring. What am I supposed to be hearing next, or what am I supposed to be thinking of, or whatever, and to get to the dialogue. In this, I never felt that way because I look at this and I'm trying to put together what is happening. There's like dust in the air, you can see that. Okay,
yeah, and it's meaningful action.
Here. Yeah.
It's not like the same thing like contemporary comics. Like we were reading the Iron Man books and Rhodey was Iron Man fighting the fishmen under the sea for the Iron Man armors. And I just blasted through that.
Yes.
So I'm like 80% of this is just meaningless battle.
Yeah.
There's nothing really ultimately important happening here. It's kind of goofy fun.
Yeah.
If I was a kid when this came out and I paid, 50 cents for it, I would say, wow, what a blast I just got.
Yeah.
This was fantastic. But as a full story, I'm like, keep it moving.
Yes. Yeah.
The action is intentional, it's specific, it's meaningful.
Yeah.
And that's where like I see a lot of Frank Miller connection.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of bits in here. We go back to our Photos app. Bing. Bing. There's a lot of bits in here that really remind me of the Miller Claremont Wolverine mini.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Of especially the initial and final battle. That's very calculated. And obviously it's a story that takes place in Japan, so there's a connection there.
Yeah.
But it's very, like the choreography is really clear. Mm-hmm. There's these widescreen panels like this.
Yeah.
With the two of them looking at each other. You can see where everyone is in this conflict blocked together. You can see like all these little individual steps that make this look like a very careful, calculated attack, counterattack, attack, counterattack.
There's that again,
the
too.
speed, yeah, and you got him, all that different stuff.
Yeah. It's
so well done.
See, like a lesser creator would have... Oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Hang on, I was trying to go back to... A lesser creator would have filled up this empty space with dialogue, so this would be an entire paragraph. And they'd and with final jabs in here. And like that's the restraint that is used to tell the story so much better than dialogue would have. Oh, I just love it so much.
It's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it really
and again,
is.
the line work, not wildly detailed all the time. Like it's enough when it needs to be enough. It's very, very... it's brushwork, so it's not the same kind of like simple, thick pen that like Mazzucchelli uses in Batman Year One. But it's the same kind of principle where he's not like trying to get every tiny fold and every tiny whatever, but you get the impression of it from the kind of loose nature of the way that all this stuff is being drawn.
Yes.
And even as like he gets further in the distance, the drawing becomes looser and looser until if you zoom in, like that's what an asparagus. What is that?
Yeah.
But out here, you can tell exactly what's going on there.
Yeah.
This was a fantastic page.
Oh,
I really loved this page.
It's gorgeous. The all black with white on top.
Oh man, and the whole like summary of the basically what the book is. It's, this is basically this is the opening of one of the books, one of the chapters, and it's these wolves, Lone Wolf and Cub, and it's a lord talking to a person who works for him. Yeah, and he says, "What? An assassin with a child?" And the guy says, "Yes, my lord. He is accompanied by a young boy, some 3 years in age. Whether it is his own son or they are together for some other reason, none can tell. Indeed, the man's age, his country of origin, all are cloaked in mystery. What is known, my lord, is his deadly skill. No one he has been hired to kill has ever escaped alive, and they say he leaves no trace of evidence behind. Those who hire him must reveal their secrets before he will accept the job. Yet though he could blackmail them at any time, there is no evidence that any have tried to kill him once he has finished his work. In short, my lord, his skill is so great that they dare not try. After many attempts, I have finally been able to establish contact. He will be here, my lord, tonight at the midnight hour. I leave it to you, but this child business, doesn't that double our risk? My lord, rumor has it that the child himself takes part in the killings. What say you? The child of a wolf, my lord, is still a wolf."
It's so good. It sums up the whole thing so well.
Yeah, like this is this book, this issue, I feel like is where the book starts to really come into its own.
Yeah.
Like the rest of this stuff, it's very The Witcher a little bit in the sense that it started out with a collection of short stories, which actually is exactly how this was published.
Yeah.
Initially, this was several short stories that eventually became collected, and then they started to create more of an overall mythology and narrative behind this whole thing. And this is where that kind of began.
Yeah.
So like with The Witcher, you get The Last Wish, which is the collection of Sapkowski's short stories that were published in like fantasy magazines, whatever, and then you get Sword of Destiny as like the first full novel in the Witcher saga. This is the Sword of Destiny. This is where that really starts to move forward in a major way.
100%.
And
it does feel
it's
like The Witcher
so
in a lot of
well
ways.
done.
Yeah, the Wandering Warrior thing is very Witcher. It's very...
I mean, maybe Sapkowski was inspired by this too. I have no idea.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Especially with this being already inspired by like Northern European or Germanic kind of myth.
Yeah.
That's very, very much
Yeah,
Witcher.
that's interesting.
So that might be kind of the full circle. But no, I love this. I mean, by way of some like if this then that, or maybe if that then this.
Yeah.
This is, if there's anybody like me that finds it a little hard to jump into manga, this would be such a good place to begin.
Yes.
I mean, it reads so easily. And again, I know it has there's a lot of the like language barrier in there. There's a glossary for it that is actually really fun to flip back to. Like you feel like you're learning, or like you are, I don't know, gaining some knowledge through it that other viewers or other readers in this case wouldn't have. And that's very fun. Like, it really feels like gaining something out of it. So yeah, if you're a comic enjoyer, try this one out if you haven't already. What else? I mean, if you like any samurai thing, if you like Sekiro, if you like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of
Yote.
Yes, Tsushima. Ghost of Tushi.
I know that it's Tsushima.
Yeah.
Some would even say Tsushima.
That's true. Some might say that. Like Jin Sakai would say that.
Jin Sakai.
Yeah.
Jin Sakai.
It's true.
Do you remember him from the game?
I do remember him deeply.
You can find his house in Ghost of Yote.
Yes, I remember that too.
It's pretty cool.
I knew that.
Just his armor though, just the hat, not the full armor, which made me mildly annoyed.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a boy's armor.
We should play that game and stream it at some
Still
point.
haven't finished it.
Brother.
I know.
You've had so much time.
Well, James Bond game comes out in like 3 days, and boy, do I want to spend $70 on that.
James Bond game comes out tomorrow.
Does it?
At time of filming. I want to play
I've been
that.
hesitant about it,
Yeah.
but the reviews came out today.
Yeah.
Like 9 or 10 out of 10 across the board.
Yeah.
Completely insane.
I saw 88% average on Metacritic.
I love the Hitman games.
Yeah.
I am blown away by how good apparently this game is.
It looks like all the best of Hitman and all the best of Uncharted.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I've read a lot of James Bond comic books too.
We should talk about those.
They are fine.
We should talk about them.
Okay.
What else? I'd be curious to hear as well if y'all agree with our assertion that this and Mandalorian are similar. Let us know what you think, especially if you've seen that movie.
Which movie? Mandalorian and Groglet?
Yes, that one. Or if you've seen the show,
Or if you've seen the Lone Wolf and Cub movies.
Or if you've seen those, or the TV show.
I've seen one of them.
Or read these books. Let us know what you think of the comparison altogether. I think it's it's got that pretty clear through line. Although I can see the places where it deviates for sure.
Oh, I mean, it's never really a direct adaptation.
Yeah,
it's really visual in nature for the most part, and slightly tonal.
Yes,
but
definitely.
it's much more the spaghetti western stuff that took originally from this is more what is actually being adapted.
Yeah.
There's an episode in season 1 that's just the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
totally,
or the Seven Samurai, whatever
you like. Yeah.
I have that movie, and I do not. I don't own the Magnificent Seven, but I do own Seven Samurai.
Yeah. Shout out to Gina Carano from that episode, who just got pinned in 17 seconds.
I don't even remember.
By Ronda Rousey the other day.
Yeah. That wasn't a stunt.
Not at all.
Oh boy. This book is really, really cool. I got to keep reading it. I've never actually finished the entire thing, even though I own all of these.
Yeah.
They have recently started publishing these in the deluxe oversized editions, like the Berserk, like the same format as the Berserk that we have.
Yeah.
I pointed over here. Is it over here? Yes, it is.
It is. Good.
It looks really cool. It looks like a leather-bound like tome. It looks awesome.
I want to read that so bad.
And I believe that that's the size that manga is drawn at, is the size that is.
Cool.
So it's, reading manga is a little bit difficult for me sometimes just because the form factor of the collected editions are like DC compacts,
Right. Yeah.
Reading it on this was a lot better.
Totally.
So I would guess that reading it on the giant thing like that. Like I had the same thing when I read the first three, I guess, of Berserk.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's good, but the art in manga is so detailed and gorgeous that to have it at that size is just a crime.
Yeah.
Because you want to get all the way deep in there.
And also even just for talk about form factor. Having something that is this like mass market paperback size this way, but is so thick.
It's so thick
on the Z-axis. That's kind of tough. So give me something that thick, but a normal size book. I'm here. I'm so here.
It's great.
So let us know what you think. Check out our Iron Man series that we just finished pretty much last month. We've been talking about Iron Man, and it's been really fun. Let us know what you'd like to see us do next. We're really open.
Yep,
we're really open.
If you like manga, you can check out the episode we did on Uzumaki.
Oh yes.
And if you have other manga that we should check out, let us know. We would love to make a big manga compilation someday. We need something else to put in there.
We're manga novices, but
2 is never enough.
Glad to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu.
That's the end of the show.
Keep reading comics. Love you.
Good luck.